The space station was quiet at night. Most workers slept in their small rooms, dreaming of home or money or both, but was awake. He was always awake during the night cycle. That was when he did his best work. Was 34 years old. He had rough hands covered in old scars and fresh burns. His face was plain and forgettable, the kind of face that disappeared in a crowd. He wore the same gray jumpsuit every day, stained with oil and coolant. He was a mechanic, not a famous one, not a special one, just a man who fixed things that were broken. Orbital Station Gamma 7 floated in the darkness between two star systems. It was an old station, built cheaply and maintained even more cheaply. Ships came here to refuel and get repairs. Miners, traders, and travelers passed through. Nobody stayed long. Nobody wanted to. Liked it here. The station was always breaking. There was always something to fix. He spent his days inside engine rooms and crawling through maintenance tunnels. Machines made sense to him. They had problems and problems had solutions. Unlike people, machines never lied about what was wrong with them. Tonight he was working on a ventilation pump in the lower decks. The pump made a grinding noise that nobody else seemed to notice. It bothered. He had taken it apart and found the problem immediately. A small bearing had worn down. Simple fix. 10 minutes of work. He was putting the pump back together when he felt it. The feeling started in his chest. It was like a vibration, but not from the station. It came from somewhere else, somewhere far away. The vibration became a sound, and the sound became a voice. It was not speaking through his ears. It was speaking directly into his mind. "Help me!" Dropped his wrench. The metal clattered on the floor. He stood very still, listening. "Please, someone, anyone, help me." The voice was weak and broken. It sounded like someone who had been screaming for a very long time and had almost given up. There was so much pain in that voice, so much sadness. Had heard dying machines before. They made sounds when their systems failed, almost like crying. This voice reminded him of that, but it was alive. It was thinking. It was afraid. He should have reported it. Station protocol said all strange signals had to go through command. They would send a probe. They would investigate properly, safely. Walk to the nearest computer terminal instead. His fingers moved across the controls. The station's sensors were old, but they still worked. He searched for the source of the signal. There, floating in empty space only 6 hours away. Something big, something very big. The computer could not identify it. That was strange. The database had information about every known ship type in the galaxy, but this thing was not in the database. It was not a ship anyone had ever recorded. "Help me, I am dying, please." The voice came again, weaker this time, made his decision without thinking about it. He grabbed his tool bag and headed for the shuttle bay. The repair shuttle was small and slow. It was meant for short trips to fix satellites and external systems. Nobody used it for 6-hour journeys into empty space. Used it anyway. He packed extra oxygen and food. He did not tell anyone where he was going. The hours passed slowly, tried to sleep but could not. The voice kept coming like waves on a beach. Sometimes it spoke words. Sometimes it just made sounds of pain. He talked back to it, even though he did not know if it could hear him. "I am coming," he said. "Hold on, I am coming." When he finally saw it, he forgot how to breathe. The thing floating in space was not a ship. It was a creature, a living being 3 kilometers long. Its body was made of something that looked like metal but moved like flesh. Huge fins stretched out from its sides like wings. A long tail curved behind it. Along its surface, lights pulsed weakly, like a heartbeat that was slowing down. But something was wrong with it. Could see growths covering its skin. They glowed an angry red color, spreading across the creature like a disease. Wherever the red growths appeared, the creature's natural light disappeared. It was being eaten alive. "You came." The voice was clearer now. It was coming from the creature. "I felt you, you're kind. Humans, you fix things, you heal machines. I have watched your species for a long time. You are young, but you have gentle hands. Guided his shuttle closer. His hands were shaking, but his voice was steady. What are you? He asked. I am a vessel being. My kind once carried civilizations across the stars. We were ships and friends and family to those who flew with us. But that was long ago. Now I am the last, and I am dying. What are those red things on your skin? Parasites, they are called the Hollowers. They have been feeding on me for 300 years. They eat my energy. They corrupt my mind. They breed inside me. Other species tried to help me. They all failed. They died or went mad. Looked at the growths. They looked bad, really bad. But he had seen bad before. He had fixed things that everyone said could not be fixed. Can I come inside? He asked. There was a long pause. When the voice came again, it was filled with something had not expected. Hope. You would do this. You would risk yourself for me. We have never met. I am not even your kind. Shrugged even though the creature could not see him. You are broken. I fix broken things. That is what I do. A section of the creature's hull began to open. It moved slowly, painfully, like an old man opening a door. Light spilled out from inside, mixed with darkness and red shadows. Then come, human. Come and see if you can do what no one else could. Come and see if you can save me. Flew his shuttle through the opening. The walls closed behind him. He was inside a living being, surrounded by flesh and metal and disease. The air smelled wrong. The walls moved like they were breathing. He opened his tool bag and looked at what he had brought. Wrenches, cutters, welding equipment, basic supplies for basic repairs. He looked at the infected walls around him. Red parasites pulsed and glowed, spreading their corruption everywhere. It was going to take more than basic supplies. It was going to take everything he had. Took a deep breath. Then he picked up his first tool and got to work. Worked for 3 days before he realized he could not do this alone. The inside of there was like nothing he had ever seen. The corridors were made of living tissue mixed with metal. Wires grew from the walls like veins. Lights pulsed with a slow rhythm like a heartbeat. Everything was connected. Everything was alive. And everything was infected. The Hollowers had spread through every part of the creature. They grew in clusters on the walls, glowing red and pulsing with stolen energy. When got close to them, he felt pressure in his head. Whispers. Images. The parasites were trying to get inside his mind. But had a simple mind. He thought about machines. He thought about problems and solutions. When the whispers came, he ignored them the same way he ignored people talking during his work. The parasites could not find anything to grab onto. He learned this on the first day. A cluster of Hollowers had tried to attack him when he cut into an infected section. They sent visions of fire and death. They showed him his worst fears, but did not really have worst fears. He had problems, and problems could be solved. He kept cutting. The parasites screamed and died, sighed with relief. You are strange, the creature said to him. Other beings who tried to help me ran screaming. Their minds broke, but you just keep working. I am not smart enough to be scared, said. He was not joking. He cleaned infection for 3 days. He barely slept. He ate the food he had brought and drank recycled water, but the infection was too big. For every cluster he removed, 2 more seemed to appear. He was one man with a tool bag, fighting a disease that had been growing for 3 centuries. On the 4th day, he called his sister. Was 8 years younger than she was everything he was not, smart, educated, important. She worked at a research station 3 systems away. She studied alien life forms. She published papers that could not understand. But she was still his little sister. She still answered when he called. You found a what? Her face on the screen showed confusion, then shock, then excitement. A living ship, a vessel being, she is called, she is dying, I need help. Was quiet for a long moment, could see her thinking, she was always thinking. Vessel beings are legends, she finally said. Stories told by old spacers. No one has seen one in thousands of years. I am inside one right now. Send me data, images, biological samples. Sent everything he had collected. He waited while his sister looked at the information. Her eyes got wider and wider. This is real, she whispered. This is actually real, and these parasites, I have never seen anything like them. They are not just feeding on the host. They are rewriting its neural pathways. They are trying to take control. Can you help? Did not hesitate. I am coming. Do not do anything else until I get there. She arrived 2 days later, bringing equipment and supplies. She also brought was oldest friend. They had served together in the military years ago before decided he preferred fixing things to breaking them. Was a combat engineer. He knew how to build things and how to destroy them. He was tall and strong, with tired eyes and a quiet voice. Your sister said you found something interesting, said as he stepped off his ship. She did not say you found something impossible. The three humans stood together inside the living ship, observed them through sensors hidden in the walls. 3 humans, the said. Her voice was stronger now after his work. 3 small beings coming to fight a war that has lasted centuries. You are either very brave or very foolish. Probably both, said. They began to work. Studied the parasites carefully. She took samples. She ran tests. She learned how they lived and how they died. After a week, she understood them better than any being in the galaxy. They have a central intelligence, she explained one night. A queen node deep inside the ship. She controls all the other parasites. She coordinates their attacks. She tells them where to grow and what to consume. So we kill the queen and the others die? Asked. In theory, but the queen is buried in the ship's core, the most infected area. No one has ever reached it and survived. Then we will be the first, said. The work continued. Cut away infected tissue. Built machines to help clear the parasites faster. Developed chemicals that killed the hollowers without hurting the. Days turned into weeks. The 3 humans lived inside the living ship. They ate together. They slept in shifts. They talked to the and learned her history. She was old. Very old. She had been born in a star nursery where young sons were being created. Her first crew had been a species of peaceful explorers who traveled the galaxy looking for new friends. They had lived inside her for 10,000 years before dying of natural causes. After that came other crews, warriors, scientists, artists. Each one left memories inside her mind. She carried their stories like treasures. Then the Hollowers came. A species called the created them, they explained. They wanted to conquer the galaxy. They engineered the Hollowers as weapons. The parasites would infect living ships like me, turning us into tools for their wars. What happened to your crew when the parasites attacked? Asked gently. There was silent for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was full of grief. They tried to save me. They fought the infection for years, but the Hollowers drove them mad one by one. In the end, I was alone. I have been alone for 300 years. Put his hand on the wall. He could feel the ship's heartbeat under his palm. You are not alone anymore, he said. The cleaning continued. Slowly, section by section, they began to heal. Her lights grew brighter. Her voice grew stronger. Systems that had been dead for centuries began to work again. But the core remained infected. The queen node pulsed with dark energy, sending commands to parasites throughout the ship. Every time they cleared an area, the queen would send more Hollowers to reinfect it. We cannot keep doing this forever, said. We are losing ground. The queen adapts faster than we can clean. Then we stop cleaning, said. We go straight for the queen. Shook her head. The path to the core goes through the worst infected areas. The parasites there are old and powerful. Their psychic attacks will be strongest there. They have not been able to hurt me yet. That was in the outer areas. The core will be different. Even you might not be able to resist. Looked at his friends. Then he looked at the walls around him. He thought about the suffering for 300 years. He thought about her dead crews who had tried to save her and failed. He was not going to fail. Pack your equipment, he said. We leave for the core tomorrow. The three humans walked through corridors that twisted and changed. The walls were covered in red growths so thick that the original tissue underneath was invisible. The air was hot and thick. It smelled like rotting meat and burning metal. Led the way. He carried a plasma cutter in one hand and a scanner in the other. Behind him, walked with a weapon ready. Came last, carrying medical supplies and chemical sprays. This voice was weak here, broken by interference from the parasites. She could only send short messages. Danger ahead, be careful. Turn left, right path is blocked. I am sorry, I am so sorry for bringing you here. They walked for hours, the corridors got narrower, the infection got worse, and the psychic attacks began. Was the first to be hit. He stopped walking suddenly. His eyes went wide, his hands started shaking. No, he whispered, no, not again. Turned around, what is wrong? But was not seeing him, he was seeing something else, something from his past. The explosion came from nowhere, said, his voice distant. We were just walking, just talking. Then fire everywhere, was right next to me. He was laughing about something stupid. Then he was gone, just gone. Grabbed her brother's arm. It is a memory attack. The parasites are making him relive his worst moments. How do we stop it? We cannot. He has to fight through it himself. Fell to his knees. Tears ran down his face. He was talking to people who were not there. Names had never heard. Friends who had died in a war fought years ago. I should have died with them, said. Why did I survive? Why am I still here? Knelt beside his friend. He did not know what to say. He was not good with words, so he did what he always did. He stated facts. You survived because you are strong, he said. You are still here because you have work to do. Those friends would not want you to give up. They would want you to keep going. His eyes slowly focused. He looked at. His breathing was heavy, but he was coming back. The parasites showed me their faces, he said, made me watch them die again. It was not real, it was just a memory, a weapon they used against you. Nodded slowly. He stood up, his legs unsteady. He picked up his weapon. Let us kill these things, he said. They kept walking. Was hit next. She saw herself standing in front of a review board. They were telling her that her research was worthless, that she had wasted years on theories that would never work, that she was not smart enough, not good enough, that her brother had died because she had failed to help him in time. Not real, she told herself over and over. Not real, not real. But the vision was strong. She could feel the shame and failure like physical weight. She could see the disappointed faces of her teachers and colleagues. She could hear them laughing at her. His voice cut through the illusion. "Oh, look at me." She blinked. Her brother was standing in front of her, alive and solid. Your research is helping us right now, he said. Your chemicals are killing the parasites. Your knowledge is guiding us. Without you, we would have failed weeks ago. But the visions. Lies, the parasites lie. They find your fears and make them seem real. But they are not real. I am real. This mission is real, and we need you. Took a deep breath. She wiped her eyes. She nodded. I am okay. Let us keep moving. They were close to the core now. The corruption here was ancient and powerful. The walls pulsed with dark energy. The red growths had faces, hundreds of faces from all the beings the parasites had consumed over the centuries. The faces watched them pass. They whispered accusations and threats. You will fail like all the others. You will die here. Your bones will become part of us. Ignored them, he kept walking. The parasites tried to attack his mind. They searched for fears, for weaknesses, for any crack they could exploit. They found nothing. This terrified them. "What are you?" The whispers became screams. "Why can we not touch you? What is wrong with your mind?" Did not answer. He did not have an answer. He was just a mechanic. He saw problems and he fixed them. That was all he knew how to do. There was no room in his mind for fear because fear did not help fix things. They reached the core chamber. The room was massive. In the center, attached to what had once been this heart, was the queen. She was huge. Her body was a twisted mass of red tissue, cables, and stolen organs. Thousands of tendrils spread out from her, connecting to every part of the ship. Her eyes, if they could be called eyes, glowed with hungry intelligence. "More humans," the queen spoke with 1,000 voices at once. "How delightful, how foolish." "We are here to kill you," said simply. The queen laughed. The sound made the walls shake. "Many have said that. Warriors with powerful weapons, scientists with advanced technology, priests with strong faith. All of them are now part of me." She showed them. Faces appeared in her body, hundreds of faces from dozens of species. They looked at the humans with dead eyes. "I offer you a choice," the queen said. "Join me willingly and I will make your end painless. Fight me and you will suffer for eternity." Raised his weapon and fired. The energy blast hit the queen's body and burned away a section of tissue. The queen screamed, then she laughed again. "That tickled. Is that the best you can do?" More parasites poured into the room. Dozens of them, hundreds. They came from the walls and ceiling. They came from the queen herself. Started firing, sprayed her chemicals, ran straight toward the queen. The battle was chaos. Stood his ground, shooting down parasites as they came. He moved like the soldier he used to be, efficient and deadly. But there were too many enemies. They started to overwhelm him. Worked beside him, spraying chemicals that made the parasites dissolve. But her supplies were limited. She was running out. Reached the queen. He activated his plasma cutter. "Wait," the queen said. Her voice changed, becoming soft and sweet. "Think about what you are doing. I can give you anything. Power, knowledge. I can make you immortal. I can bring back the dead." The plasma cutter began to cut. "Stop. I can show you secrets of the universe. I can tell you the meaning of life." The cut went deeper. "Please, I do not want to die." Looked at the queen. For a moment, he felt something that might have been pity. "You should have thought about that before you spent 300 years killing an innocent being." He made the final cut. The queen's scream was psychic and physical at the same time. It echoed through the ship and across space. Every parasite in the felt it. They stopped moving. They stopped fighting. Then they started dying. One by one, the hollowers fell. Their red glow faded. Their bodies turned gray and crumbled. The infection that had lasted for centuries ended in minutes. The shuddered. Then, for the first time in 300 years, her voice rang clear and strong through every corridor. "I am free. I am finally free." Sat down on the floor. He was covered in blood and ichor. His plasma cutter was ruined. His body ached in places he did not know could ache. And came to sit beside him. They were alive, wounded, exhausted, but alive. "We did it," said. She sounded surprised. "Yes," said, "we did." And then, because there was nothing else to do, they slept. In the days after the queen's death, this body started to change. Dead tissue fell away like old skin. New growth appeared, bright and healthy. The red corruption faded, replaced by the ship's natural colors of silver and blue and gold. The three humans watched in amazement as the living ship healed herself. "I had forgotten what it felt like to be whole," they said. Her voice was different now, stronger, clearer, almost musical. 300 years of pain and darkness. I had almost lost myself completely. Was still working. Even without the parasites, there was damage to repair. Neural pathways needed reconnecting. Power systems needed calibrating. He crawled through the corridors, fixing things as he found them. "You do not have to do that," the ship told him. "I can heal myself now." "I know," said, welding a broken connection, "but I want to help." There was quiet for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was warm. "You are a strange human. I have known many species. I have carried many crews, but I have never met anyone quite like you." As the ship healed, her true nature began to reveal itself. There was not just a transport vessel. She was not just a living ship. She was something far more powerful. Weapons systems that had been dormant came back online. Shields that could stop planetary bombardments activated. Engines that could cross galaxies in days started to pulse with energy. Studied the new systems with scientific fascination. "These specifications are impossible," she said, reading data on her scanner. Her main cannon could destroy a small moon. Her shields could withstand a supernova. She is not a ship. She is a war god. "I was built during the Great Wars," they explained, "when my kind still numbered in the thousands. We were the protectors of civilizations. We fought against those who would destroy the innocent. My class was called Sovereign. We were the strongest of all vessel beings." "Why did the parasites target you specifically?" asked. "Because of what I am. The Dominion created the Hollowers to enslave ships like me. They wanted to turn us into weapons for their conquest. They infected many of my siblings. Most were destroyed rather than become tools of evil. I chose to run, to hide. I hoped to find help, but help never came, until now." Weeks passed. They grew stronger every day. Her hull became smooth and perfect. Her systems hummed with power. She stretched her wings in the darkness of space, testing abilities she had not used in centuries. One day, she called the three humans to her central chamber. "I want to offer you something," she said. "You saved my life. You gave me back my freedom. I want to give you something in return." "You do not owe us anything," said. "Perhaps not, but I want to do this. Please let me explain." The chamber walls lit up with images. They showed this past crews, beings of many species living inside her. They were connected to the ship through glowing lines of light. "This is called symbiosis," they said. "A bond between a vessel being and her crew. We share thoughts, we share feelings, we share purpose. Those who bond with me become part of me and I become part of them." "Does it hurt?" asked. "No, it feels like coming home, like finding family you never knew you had." Crossed his arms. "What is the catch?" "The bond is permanent. Once made, it cannot be broken except by death. You would be connected to me forever. Some might call that a prison." The three humans looked at each other. They did not need to discuss it. They had already made their decision. "We accept," said. The symbiosis was unlike anything they had experienced. Light surrounded them. They felt this consciousness touching theirs, gentle and welcoming. For a moment, they saw everything she saw. They felt everything she felt. The vastness of space, the weight of centuries, the joy of freedom, the love for those who had saved her. When it was over, they were different. They could feel the ship around them like their own body. They could hear her thoughts like whispers in their minds. They were still themselves, still human, but they were also something more. "Welcome aboard," they said, and her voice now came from inside them as well as outside. News travels fast in space, even in the empty places between stars. Within weeks, word of this restoration spread across the galaxy. A vessel being restored by humans, a sovereign-class warship, active again after thousands of years. The news caused panic in some places and celebration in others. The Dominion reacted with fear and anger. They had believed the Hollowers unstoppable. They had believed no species could free an infected ship. They had been wrong, and that mistake threatened everything they had built. An emergency council was called in the capital. Leaders debated what to do about the restored ship and her human crew. "Kill them," said the war minister. "Send a fleet. Destroy the ship before she becomes a threat." "It is not that simple," said the intelligence chief. "She is a sovereign, one of the most powerful ships ever created. A single fleet might not be enough." "Then send multiple fleets. Send everything we have. We cannot let her survive." The decision was made. They assembled the largest battle fleet in their history, 15 dreadnoughts, 200 support vessels, enough firepower to burn a planet. Their target, the human colony of Nu, where there was resting and finishing her recovery. Inside the three humans felt her alarm before the message arrived. "They are coming," she said, "though they are sending a fleet to destroy us and your colony." Was in the engine room as usual. He stopped working and closed his eyes, connecting more deeply with the ship's sensors. He could see the fleet approaching. 15 massive warships, bristling with weapons. Hundreds of smaller vessels surrounding them. "How long do we have?" he asked. 4 days. His voice came through their shared connection. "Can we fight them, all of them?" "I do not know. I have not fought in a very long time. My weapons are working, but I have no crew except the 3 of you. A full sovereign crew was usually 100 beings." Was in the medical bay, but her voice was clear in their minds. "Then we work with what we have. Knows your systems better than anyone, has tactical experience. I can help coordinate and analyze. We are not 100, but we are enough." This doubt faded, replaced by something else: pride. "You would fight against an entire fleet, for a colony that is not even your home." Smiled, "You are our home now, and we do not let people destroy our home." The next 4 days were busy. Worked on the weapons systems, making sure everything was perfect. Studied tactical data, learning how they fought and how to counter them. Prepared medical supplies and created programs to analyze battlefield data in real time. They trained her new crew and her abilities. Through their bond, she showed them how to direct her weapons, how to maneuver her massive body, how to use her shields effectively. It was not enough time, they all knew that, but it would have to do. On the 4th day, the fleet appeared on the edge of the new system. 15 dreadnoughts, 200 support vessels, thousands of weapons pointed at a single planet with 10 million humans living on it. And between the fleet and the planet, one ship. They opened her wings and prepared for war. The Awakened Leviathan Part 5, The War That Wasn't. The Admiral looked at his display with satisfaction. His fleet was magnificent. 15 dreadnoughts in perfect formation, each one capable of destroying cities. 200 support ships surrounding them, ready to hunt down any survivors. This was the most powerful force the Dominion had assembled in 3 centuries. And against them stood one ship. "Signal the creature," the Admiral ordered. "Tell it to surrender. We might let the humans live if they give us the vessel being." The message went out. The reply came back almost instantly. It was not words, it was laughter. The Admiral's scales turned pale with anger. "All ships, open fire." 200 ships launched their weapons at once. Missiles, energy beams, projectiles that moved at half the speed of light, the space between the fleets filled with death. They did not try to dodge. She simply flew forward directly into the storm. Inside her felt every impact against the shields. It was strange feeling attacks against his own body, but the shields held, more than held, they barely noticed. "Their weapons are weak," he reported, "shields at 98%. "I am changing the calculations," said. Her voice was calm, but her mind was racing, processing data faster than she ever had before. "They expected us to be damaged. They expected the parasites to still be weakening us. Their entire strategy is wrong." "Then let us show them how wrong they are," said. "Give me weapons control." Through their bond, the ship's targeting systems connected to his mind. He saw the battlefield as she saw it, every enemy ship, every weapon, every weakness. He started firing. This main cannon was designed to fight other sovereign ships. Using it against normal vessels was like using a hammer to kill ants. The first shot passed through 3 dreadnoughts before finally stopping. They exploded in sequence, one after another, like flowers blooming in the dark. The fleet scattered in panic. "Impossible," the admiral screamed. "That is impossible. Our ships have the best armor in the galaxy." But that was not from this time. She was from an age when wars were fought between giants. Her weapons were made to hurt beings like herself. The ships were nothing. Kept firing. Each shot was precise, guided by his experience and the ship's sensors. He did not waste energy. He did not miss. Dreadnought after dreadnought fell. The support ships tried to swarm. They came from every direction, hopping to find a weak point in the shields, tracked them all, feeding information to and the ship. 12 attacking from below, 23 from the port side. Their formation has a gap at coordinates 773. Adjusted, the rolled, her massive body moving with surprising grace. Secondary weapons activated, creating a wall of fire around her. Support ships exploded like insects hitting a flame. Worked through the battle, not fighting but fixing. Small damage appeared as millions of weapons hit the shields. He repaired it instantly, keeping the ship at full power. He found ways to make the systems work better, small adjustments that increased efficiency. The ship healed faster than the enemy could hurt her. "You are magnificent," they said to her crew. "I have never seen such coordination, such trust. We are fighting as one being." "That is because we are one being," replied. The battle lasted 3 hours. By the end, not one ship remained. 15 dreadnoughts destroyed, 200 support vessels reduced to debris, thousands of warriors dead or captured. And on the planet below, not one human had been harmed. The floated in the middle of the wreckage, her lights pulsing steadily. She was barely damaged. A few scratches on her hull, some minor system strain. Nothing could not fix in an afternoon. The 3 humans stood on her observation deck looking out at the stars. They were exhausted. Fighting a war even through a bond was tiring work. But they were alive. The colony was safe. They had won. "What happens now?" asked. The answer came from everywhere. From the communication systems, from monitoring stations, from thousands of signals racing across space. The galaxy was talking about them. The news spread faster than light. A living ship restored by humans. A battle fleet destroyed by 3 people and their vessel. The Dominion revealed as the creators of the Hollowers. Governments demanded answers. Old victims of the parasite plague demanded justice. Species that had lost ships and crews to the Hollowers finally knew who to blame. Within weeks, the Dominion faced sanctions from 100 worlds. Their allies abandoned them. Their enemies grew bold. The empire that had terrorized the galaxy began to crumble. But that was not the most important news. Deep in space, hidden in nebulae and asteroid fields, other signals began to appear. Weak, broken, desperate. "Help me. Please, anyone. I have been alone for so long." Other vessel beings, other survivors of the Hollower plague. They had been hiding for centuries, slowly dying, too afraid to call for help. But now they had heard what happened. They knew that rescue was possible. And they knew who to call. "The messages are coming from everywhere," said, looking at the data. "Dozens of them, maybe hundreds, all infected, all asking for help." "Can we save them all?" asked. Looked out at the stars. He thought about the dying alone in the darkness. He thought about the 300 years she had suffered. He thought about all the other ships out there, suffering the same way. "We can try," he said. The spoke, her voice full of emotion. "My siblings, they are still alive, some of them at least. I thought they were all gone." "Then let us go find them," said. 1 year later, 7 vessel beings flew together through space. Each one had been saved by humans. Each one had bonded with human crews. Each one was grateful, powerful, and ready to help others. The galaxy was changing. The old powers were fatting, new alliances were forming, and at the center of it all were humans, the young species that fixed broken things. Stood on this observation deck watching the stars pass by. His hands were still rough, still. He still wore the same gray jumpsuit, still stained with oil and coolant. Some things did not change, but other things had changed completely. "I have been thinking," the said to him privately, "about why humans were able to save me when so many others failed." "And what did you decide?" "Other species saw me as a problem too big to solve. They saw the parasites as enemies too powerful to defeat. They came with fear in their hearts, and the Hollowers used that fear against them. But you did not come with fear. You came with something else, something I had never seen before." "Waited." "You came with stubbornness," the ship said, "pure, simple stubbornness. You saw a broken thing and decided to fix it. You did not ask if it was possible. You did not wonder if you were good enough. You just started working. And when the work was hard, you worked harder. When the parasites attacked your mind, you ignored them because they were not part of the work." Smiled a little. "I am not sure that is something to be proud of." "It is. It is the most human thing I have ever seen. Other species think they need to be special to do great things. Humans just do great things and do not realize they are special." A signal came through. Another distress call. Another vessel being dying somewhere in the dark. Stretched his shoulders and picked up his tool bag. Some habits never changed. "Ready to go?" he asked. This engines hummed with power. Her weapons stood ready. Her crew was connected, mind to mind, heart to heart. "Always," she said. And together they flew toward the signal, ready to fix another broken thing. Because that was what they did. That was what humans did. They found broken things in the universe and they made them whole again. Not with magic or advanced technology or special powers, just with stubborn hands, simple minds, and hearts that refused to give up. The galaxy had many problems, many broken things waiting to be fixed. Smiled. He had a lot of work to do.